Pleasant afternoon. Welcome to Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. It's the world news. Here are the top stories. President Buhari says 2023 election shows Nigerian democracy is maturing. Ekweremadu, wife, doctor jailed for organ trafficking. Governor Abiodun declares cultism as an act of terrorism. In business, total blackout looms in Ogun, Oyo, Osun and others. On the foreign scene, flood kills over 170 people in the East Democratic Republic of Congo. And in sport, Napoli president vows to sell Osimhen for any amount this summer. Details coming up shortly. Now the news in detail. I am OLUWAFISAYOMI, AJIBOLA. President Muhammadu Buhari says the conduct of the 2023 general election has shown that the government can be elected peacefully and fairly. In a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, the president spoke on Friday while addressing the Commonwealth Leaders Summit in London. President Buhari in his European country to attend coronations of Charles III as King of the United Kingdom and leader of the Commonwealth. President Buhari said he was satisfied with the conduct of elections in Nigeria, considering the turnout of voters and the generally peaceful atmosphere under which the polls was conducted. A judge at the Central Criminal Court London has sentenced former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu, his wife Beatrice, and Dr. Obinna Obeta to jail. At the sentencing hearing on Friday, Ekweremadu was jailed for 9 years and 8 months. His wife Beatrice was sentenced to 4 years and 6 months imprisonment, while Obeta received a 10 years prison term. The sentencings followed their conviction in the March for organ trafficking. The jury said Ekweremadu, his wife, and the doctor criminally conspired to bring a 21-year-old Lagos street hawker to London to exploit him for his kidney. The conviction is the first under the UK's Modern Slavery Act 2015. The second batch of the 130 evacuees, comprising 128 females and 2 males, arrived in Nigeria from Port Sudan on Friday. They arrived at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja around 3 p.m. This brings to 506 in total of stranded Nigerians evacuated from war-torn Sudan. The first batch of Nigerians evacuees from the war-torn North African country arrived in the country late Wednesday. Addressing journalists after receiving the second batch of evacuees, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Nasir Sani Gwazo, said about 1,700 Nigerians remaining in Port Sudan will be evacuated in a few days. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has upheld the conviction and 8-year sentence of former chairman of the Pension Reform Tax Team, Abdulrasheed Maina, for laundering about 2.1 billion naira. Delivering the ruling on Friday, a 3-member panel of the court unanimously affirmed the November 8, 2021 judgment given by Justice Okon Abang of the Federal High Court Abuja. In the lead judgment read by Justice Friday Williams Adaudu, the appellate court held that Maina was not denied a fair hearing by the trial court and that the prosecution proved its case beyond a reasonable doubt. The suspended Resident Electoral Commission in Adamawa, Aidu Yunusahari, has been directed to report to the headquarters of the Nigerian Police Force every weekday. Yunusahari, who was arrested on Tuesday, was granted administrative bail by the police. In a statement issued on Friday, the police spokesperson OLUWAFISAYOMI said an investigation is still ongoing on the Rex action during the Adamawa governorship election. In Ogun State, Governor Dapo Abiodun has declared that his administration will henceforth deal with cultists and cult-related activities as an act of terrorism. The governor made the declaration at the Akaribos Palace in Shagamu during a stakeholder security meeting held on Friday. This follows the renewed court clashes in Shagamu local government area. Governor Abiodun also disclosed that a joint intervention squad made of the military, police, the Department of State Security, civil defense, and local vigilante will be established to deal with cultism and other related crimes in its headquarters in Shagamu. Addressing the people of Sabo community in Shagamu after paying a visit to some innocent victim of the court clash, Governor Abiodun said a reward system will be put in place to encourage people to come forward with information on cultists and cultism activities in the state. The Lagos State government has demolished a 3-story building under construction on Banana Island. 4 others buildings were also sealed and fences around new project site without government approval were removed. The exercise comes weeks after a 7-story building collapsed in the same area on April 12. Speaking on Friday, the general manager of the Lagos State Building Control Agency, Bola Oki, said a 3-story building demolished and sealed building did not have approvals and did not confirm of planning rules and regulations. Oki advised Lagos residents to always do the right thing and obey all the physical planning laws for safe construction and sanity in the environment. You have been listening to the world news on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Still to come after this break, business, foreign and sport. Do stay with us. In business, the Food and Agricultural Organization FAO of the United Nations says world food prices rose in April for the first time in a year. The new UN agency said its food price index, which tracks monthly changes in the international prices of commonly traded food commodities, averaged 127.2 points in April 2023, up by 0.6% from March. FAO, however, said the index was 19.7% below its level in April 2022, but still 5.2% higher than in April 2021. In the report released on Friday, the agency said the increase in food prices index was driven by higher international quotations from sugar, meat, and rice, which offset a decline in the prices of wheat, maize, dairy foods, and vegetables. The Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company, IBEDC, has asked its customers in Oyo, Ogun, Osun, Kwara, and other parts of Niger, Ekiti, and Kogi to help avert the looming total darkness. In a message posted on its Twitter page on Friday, the distribution company informed that a prolonged power outage may be experienced from next month due to a plan by the Transition Company of Nigeria to discontinue IBEDC and other discos from the national grid over poor remittance. TCN had earlier issued a 60-day grace period to 13 of the defaulting discos, failure of which they will be disconnected from the national grid. The distribution companies are said to be indebted to the transmission company to the tunes of billions of naira. On the foreign scene, more than 170 people have died after heavy rains and flooding in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. South Kivu Governor Theo Gwabije said dozens of people were unaccounted for in Kaleya region west of Lake Kivu and near the Rwandan border, where the floods also washed away hundreds of homes. A day of national mourning will be observed on Monday with flags lowered to half-mast in memory of the lost compatriots, the government announced on Friday evening. The World Health Organization said on Friday that COVID-19 pandemic was no longer considered a public health emergency of international concern. The Director General WHO, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, announced this in Geneva. The Global Health Organization also lifted the highest alert level that can be imposed in the event of a threat, which has been in place for more than 3 years. In sport, Napoli President Aurelio De Laurentiis has vowed that he won't sell Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen for any amount this summer. The Nigerian international has been instrumental in Napoli winning the first Serie A title 33 years with 22 league goals. Already a number of top clubs including Bayern Munich, PSG, Manchester United and Chelsea and Arsenal are said to be behind the former Lille player. Still on sport, Lionel Messi on Friday apologized for going on an unauthorized trip to Saudi Arabia that led to the Argentines' World Cup winning captain being suspended by his club Paris Saint-Germain. Messi made the apology in a video posted on Instagram to his 458 million followers. He was suspended by the Qatar home club after failing to turn up for training on Monday, a day after the 3-1 home defeat by Lorient in League One. To end the world news, a quick recap of major headlines. President Buhari said 2023 election shows Nigerian democracy is maturing. Governor Dapo Abiodun declared cultism an act of terrorism. In business, we did tell you that the total blackout looms in Ogun State as IBEDC threatened blackout. Flood killed over 170 people in East Democratic Republic of Congo. And in sport, Napoli president vowed not to sell Victor Osimhen for any amount this summer. The World News was edited and produced by Abidat Tawhid. For more news and updates, you can follow us on social media on www.facebook.com/ALIyamoyeTV and radio, on Twitter @IyamoyeTV and on Instagram @Al-Iyamoye. You can also stream live by logging on to www.aliyamoyetvradio.com. I am OLUWAFISAYOMI AJIBOLA. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening.